So we are back in session. We have Erica Willitzer with the Defiance County Economic Development here to talk with us, so go right ahead.
Okay, well, thank you so much for having me tonight. I am here requesting the support of resolution for an enterprise zone agreement for a project that'll happen here in Hicksville, or, well, we're trying to get it annexed. But it would be located at 4125 State Route 18. I believe that's very close to your entrance, and you guys should be pretty aware of what's happening there. It's for Hicksville Health Facilities LLC / Vancrest of Hicksville LLC. What they are proposing total is an $11 million project, which would be a new facility, a healthcare facility. And the real property on that will be $9.1 million. They're looking at adding 15 permanent jobs. Currently, they have 31 employees here in Hicksville, but they're looking to add a new payroll of $1.3 million. Their term that they're requesting is 80% abatement for 10 years. That does fall within the county commissioner's guidelines of investment and then also job creation. The building is going to be around a 51,000 square foot building. And then as far as school donations go, Hicksville Exempted Village Schools, based on their real property, would get close to $11,000 per year. So $10,992 per year for a grand total for the 10-year period, $274,794.
I think that math's not right.
It isn't?
Not 11,000 times 10 would be around
109,000.
111,000.
Okay, yeah, it's not right. It's been a long day.
That's all right.
Okay, well, I can send you the correct number there.
Well, we'll take the bigger number if we can have
The 11,000 a year, 10,000, what did you say?
Yeah, so,
992.
Yeah, it's that
10,990,
times 10.
yeah, thank you. So I got some updated numbers from them here just recently, so I was trying to scurry to get them, so I apologize for that. So what we're asking of tonight is to sign the waiver of notice with the Ohio Revised Code, that you were notified of this, and then also a resolution of support. Is there any questions regarding the project?
When you said 15 permanent jobs, was that in addition to the current?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And then an additional $1.3 million in payroll. You are the first that I'm coming to. I have a meeting with Core County Career Center on Thursday regarding this project.
Any idea timeline?
They are wanting to start break ground as early as next month. Again, they're looking into what they need to do as far as annexation. So we're going to see how that goes there.
Okay.
So with the agreement, we will have to it'll depend on if they annex or don't annex, whether we get a resolution of support from the trustees or if we get a resolution of support from the council.
Gotcha. Any comments, questions? Okay. Do we want to go ahead and approve? We came prepared with a recommendation to do the 45-day waiver of notice and then the resolution in support.
I'm good with
Okay.
that.
So I'll need a motion for
I'll move. I'll second.
Galen. Okay, that was quiet. Galen
Sorry.
and Craig to approve as following as stated, to recommend to approve the 45-day waiver of notice period for Ohio Enterprise Zone Agreement between Defiance County and Hicksville Health Facilities LLC, Vancrest of Hicksville. Roll call.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Iden?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Mazur?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes, motion passes 5-0, and then I need a motion for the resolution.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Minda and Galen, thank you. Recommend to approve a resolution number 2022-02, resolution approving enterprise zone agreement between Defiance County and Hicksville Health Facilities LLC, Vancrest, including a 10-year 80% abatement of real property taxes and an annual donation of $10,992 for 10 years. And roll call.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Iden?
Yes.
Mrs. Mazur?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron and Jan and Aaron, did you get that addendum back there? Okay.
Awesome. Did you get the amount? There was the amount needed filled in the bottom? Oh, okay, awesome. Okay. Do we have the Director of
We do.
Operations?
I told Eric he had another engagement at 6 o'clock, and I didn't think we would be ready for him then, so he gave me his list. He's currently finishing up mowing, and he wanted to let you guys know that he loves the new mower. And actually, I spent some time on it one afternoon, and it is a nice mower. It works, it's nice, and it was the best 2 hours of my day.
That's sad.
Well, the phone wasn't ringing, let's put it that way.
I get you.
He's working with the contractors on finishing up the punch list items in the new field house. It's very frustrating on that because of lead time and parts. And a lot of it has to do with shipping, as you probably have heard. So we're waiting on a lot of that stuff to get in here, which is why it's not done. Getting equipment around for snow removal. He's also ordered sidewalk salt for the winter. He's getting ready to winterize the courtyard, and after the last home football game, he'll winterize all the park buildings. And that's it. If you have questions, you're welcome to text him, he said.
So I do have a question, whether we want to talk about it now or at the end during discussion, is just the water on the roadway down there.
Well,
And I'm just really
pretty bad.
concerned
Yeah.
with
Cold
if
weather.
if they're building, how that will affect drainage and water runoff even more.
Yeah, we have met with the engineers, and the owner of Van Crest said that he would work with us on trying to resolve that issue. That clearly there's a problem down there. And long story short, the pipe going out isn't large enough to accommodate the amount of water when there's lots of rain. And that pipe would need to be enlarged, and it goes clear across the road over to the railroad tracks and down the railroad track area.
Wow.
So that's the way I understand it. But we are working to fix that problem, but
I would have thought that when they were, designing the road, they would have taken that
Wish
into
they would have
account,
thought of that,
because,
yeah.
yeah, that's gonna, that'll tear that road up. It's
well,
not fixed.
it was actually designed, and we've met with the architects and the engineers, and I forget who else from the county. It was actually designed to shed the water from west to east, because the water naturally flows down there from west to east. Our concern was, why didn't you catch it on the west side of the road and put the culverts and stuff in there to catch it so it didn't go across the road? My concern is, especially winter, when things
Freezes.
are melting and it freezes, I think that could be a really bad thing, not to mention the water that's piling up.
Well, I noticed just the other day, and it had not been raining, but you could just still tell the pavement
Yeah.
in that
I-
small
I-
section.
I came that way this morning
Was
to look at it. You
extremely
can still
wet.
see this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how far the water went up on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, it's clear across.
Yeah.
Are they gonna try to get something figured out before winter? Or do you think that'll happen?
Craig, I don't know how soon that'll happen. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but it is an issue, and we know that, and
We're working on it.
we're working on it.
Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions? All right. Principal reports. Mr. Slattery, we'll start with
All right,
you.
lucky me. All right, good evening. Of course, just a few updates on some past events and some upcoming events. Hicksville homecoming festivities were held on Friday, October 1st. Congratulations to our homecoming court, and thank you to the community for another great parade, and of course supporting our school. I know that the Hicksville football game has kind of become somewhat of a rivalry game, and we had a great turnout for that game, so it was a fun night. And then, of course, on Saturday, October 2nd, the student council provided a great dance for all of our students. And of course, what feels like 30% of the student population for Northwest Ohio. It's amazing social media and the interaction all of our kids have with all the other schools, and how many kids from other communities are at your dances now. I recently attended the Ohio Association of Secondary School Administrators. The conference was canceled last year. It's usually a really good conference, but the one thing I want to point out is, something that we're all aware of, and it's become a major focus for this school year, not just for Hicksville, but for most schools. I would say that the main topic of concern is, the mental health side of things, and it's, for our students, for our staff, for, administrators, everyone. And I felt like it was a really good conference. I came back with some ideas that I've been working with some local support groups. In fact, I had a few members of the community and myself. We've been working with Maumee Valley Guidance out of Defiance, and I was unaware, but they do provide services for most schools in the four-county area. We are now going to we're going to be having them in our 7th grade classrooms, our freshman classrooms, and our senior classrooms. We can provide services pertaining to mental health, stress, things like that, screening for our students, which we feel is very vital this school year. And not to focus on the event that occurred, of course, in a neighboring community, but it just kind of heightens that and that awareness and making sure that we are providing opportunities for mental health for our students and their families.
Can I add to that real quick?
Go for it.
We're also trying to get the 8th grade part of that Maumee Valley Guidance Center as well. But students will be bringing home permission slips here shortly for the program for an optional screening at the end of this month. So look out for those permission slips.
And that's for, I believe, every grade level that's going to be participating in this.
Yes.
I think they're all going to have those permission slips.
What was the name of that? Maumee Valley what?
Maumee Valley Guidance.
It's called Signs of Suicide Program.
And there's different presentations you're going to have. That's just part of it, but there's also just that idea. We talk about just the different expectations and needs of our 7th grade students compared to our incoming freshmen, compared to our seniors that we're preparing to go out and be adults. And we're recognizing more and more needs that our students have, especially for support systems. And again, so the curriculum involved in it will, I guess, evolve and change for every group of kids. So we're pretty excited about it. Recently, Jane Myers, our ESC rep, she worked with an Ed Talk. That Ed Talk is about testing blueprints. I'm going to let Mike Altman speak about that more when he gets his opportunity to speak, because I know a lot of times we repeat the same information, so I'm going to let Mike hit that. But I just want you guys to know that we're focusing on state standards and achievement gaps for our students in state testing. And again, he can hit all the nuts and bolts of that. Kenzie Schrader, junior here at Hicksville High School. She is the first female golfer to qualify for the state golf competition, so we were awfully excited about that. I had the opportunity to go down last Friday and watch her golf the gray course at Ohio State, which was an awesome experience for myself. But she did a great job. She represented us very well. It was exciting to watch her play. In the end, there's roughly 100 golfers that qualified, whether it's through the team or through the individuals from every district across the state. And she finished 14th overall, so we're very proud of her performance. And I know, being a golfer myself, golf is one of the sports where all you think about is the opportunities that you had, and she's focusing on those, but we're just telling her how proud we are and how awesome a job she did. She's excited to try to get back there next year. But congratulations to Kenzie. Parent-teacher conferences are this Wednesday, October 20th, and Thursday, October 21st. Keep in mind, teachers have been reaching out to parents and requesting conferences, but at the same time, last night at roughly 8 p.m., we sent out a link to all parents of middle school and high school students. Those middle school and high school parents can use that link to request conferences for teachers also. So hopefully the parents receive that. If they did not receive that, or they want to call us, they're more than welcome to call our respective offices, the middle school and the high school, and schedule an appointment. Upcoming events, of course, National Honor Society induction is Monday, October 25th. It's hard to believe, but the end of the first quarter is Friday, October 29th, next Friday already. And then, of course, we have some big events coming up with the innovative interviews that will take place on Thursday, November 4th. And I always have to say this, Mrs. Leone started that program. Mr. Freeze has taken that over. It's amazing the number of community members that volunteer their time to come in and work with our students on that program, and we're just hoping to make it even bigger and better this year. Thank you.
That's great. Any questions for Jeff? Mr. Altman.
Going back to that Maumee Valley Guidance Center with the Signs of Suicide program, what they do is they target every other school year for these students. So 7th grade, 9th grade, is it juniors as well?
We're jumping to senior year.
Did you want to seniors?
Seminar. It's just a better opportunity.
So for this, for the first run with this program, I'm trying to get our 7th grader and 8th grade class involved, and then the following year go every other year, just so they all get the same message right away. As you spoke about, Jane Myers, our ESC consultant, and that professional development workshop she put on, it was called Testing Blueprints and Design, and then also like kind of dive into the data as well. So the ODE releases blueprints for each test to let you know what's on the test, what percent of stuff is on the test, what level the questions will be asked at. Then also they release lots of information in terms of what domains the students struggled on, what domains the students did good on in terms of your standards. And it's not an easy website to navigate. So Jane worked with our teachers to navigate that website to try to figure out what areas they do really well on, what areas they struggle on, and then how to approach it going forward. Mrs. Chamberlain, our guidance counselor, has been conducting the ROCKS program with the 7th grade girls for the past 2 years now. The goal of ROCKS is to create confident girls who control their own relationships, experiences, and decisions. To help our girls further, she decides to continue to meet up with these students in 8th grade during lunch. Here she's reiterating the following, and following up with the 8th grade students to make sure they're practicing the tools they were taught as 7th grade girls. Mrs. Deal in our community class just finished the install of the free little library. If you're near the Hicksville Family Eye Care, please take a book, leave a book. Basically, there is a post in the ground outside Dr. Hoffman's practice with a waterproof house to house all these books, and people are welcome to give a book and take a book whenever they please, just to kind of promote reading around our community. And then finally, I'd like to give a shout out to the 5th grade team. They're always looking for creative ways to honor their students' achievements, and one of those ways is the 5th grade sign. Each week, the 5th grade team chooses a student that they believe is working hard and embodies the Hicksville essentials. They then take a yard sign that says, "The 5th grade teachers are proud of me," and place it in that student's yard. And they usually do this on Friday afternoon. Sometimes they have to drive pretty far. The most recent sign winner was McKinley Gardner. Congrats to McKinley. Look for those signs out in the neighborhood, everybody.
I love seeing those posts on Facebook.
I do too.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Kaufman.
Just to bounce off of Mr. Altman, Jane Myers will also be presenting that PD for our 3rd and 4th grade teachers on November 1st. So excited to dive into that data and see how we can continue to successfully navigate. So today, 3rd grade students took part 1 of the fall state test, and tomorrow we will take part 2. A variety of the students in grades kindergarten through 3rd grade who were identified through diagnostic assessments have been placed on REMPs, which means reading improvement, monitoring plans to receive title intervention, as well as to meet our 3rd grade guarantee requirements. But we got off to a great start this morning. Tonight was the kickoff for the 21st Century Grant that Mr. Farrell has been working so diligently on. We have 28 students currently involved in the program for the after-school portion. And I'm not sure how many for the morning program, but he is providing intervention before school and after school. So just a huge thanks to Mr. Farrell for all of the work that he's done and all of the staff members that are currently involved to make this program a success. Today was the 4th Monday of our after-school program, Growing God's Way. It seems to be going very, very well. The kids seem to be extremely excited. I counted 64 participants as of tonight. Again, I appreciate the staff and the community members that have volunteered their time to help kick off this program, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen when our kindergarten students are able to join on November 1st. I know we've received a lot of phone calls in the office acquiring about the kindergarten students, so I'm excited to see that opportunity. Red Ribbon Week is next week. For students in grades preschool through 4th. During this week, we focus on making healthy and positive choices. Each day we focus on different character traits with dress-up days and just fun activities planned. We are excited to utilize the field house on a variety of these days and actually even partner with Mr. Smith's strength and conditioning classes to kind of pair up with our 3rd and 4th grade students as positive role models. A huge thanks to Mrs. Montgomery and our ACEs in Action for all of their hard work to make this an exciting experience for our kiddos. And lastly, we plan to celebrate our veterans and active servicemen on November 11th with a light breakfast and program in the high school gymnasium that starts at 8:30 a.m. And we just encourage anyone interested in attending to please call the elementary office at 419-542-7475 and reserve a spot with Mrs. Slattery. We will also continue sending out a link for people to be able to sign up through a Google form, but we would love to celebrate any of our veterans and active servicemen and women.
Okay, thank you so much. I do have a Ford County Board report from Denny Vetter. Ford County continues to do well under the leadership of Tim Meister and Connie Nicely. The board and association is close to having a contract to vote on. The roofing project continues to move forward. There is some additional cost involved due to the supply issues of certain products. And then they had 3 teachers reported on their summer work experience related to their field of interest. And they have heard about a large salmon factory being proposed in the Pioneer area, and they're hoping to find out more about that. And I think that was it. Salmon, I know, that's why I was surprised too.
I've heard
West
about it.
Unity, yeah.
Huh. Okay. So, Mr. Countryman, Superintendent's report.
Yep. Just to mention again that we are working on that punch list for the new building out there. So we're diligently staying on top of on them, but unfortunately a lot of it has to come down to shipping. They're just not getting stuff in. Melissa Crawford is the person we hired to replace Ruth Ann, who retires a week from Friday, and she's been working with Ruth Ann for the last month and getting settled in down there, so that's been happening. We're still short bus drivers. It's more for sub bus drivers, but we could always use sub drivers. So if anybody's interested in that, I always say it'd be a great job for like a farmer or somebody that could, come early in the morning and do the route, and then go home and do what they need to do at home, and then come back and do the afternoon route. So if anybody's interested, please contact our office, and we can get you started on that with Diane. I've been driving numerous times already this fall, so people see me driving, it's because there's no one else. I am certified, by the way.
Stay up to date.
As a bus driver, right? Yeah. I too attended a conference a couple weeks ago, the Bassett Fall Conference. It was very informative. A lot of workshops that I attended. A lot of it dealt with COVID and what schools are dealing with in the different districts. And so it was helpful to hear how other districts are dealing with COVID and the problems that they're faced with or not faced with compared to others. So it was very beneficial to network with those other superintendents and bounce those ideas off of each other on how to move forward. Also wanted to let you know that obviously we still meet weekly with the county nurse, and other counties have put out a COVID quarantine update. You may have seen this from other districts. And we have one for Defiance County. We have it ready. We're waiting on approval from our county nurse, who's waiting on approval from her supervisors. And we found some stuff out that's kind of interesting that I know other counties have already put their stuff out, and each county health department does or is supposed to operate under the direction of the state health department. However, you will find differences still between counties because some of them are going on their own and taking a direction on their own, and that's their problem, not ours. But that makes it difficult for people that are following the rules and doing it the way we're supposed to, because it always seems like we're always late. Defiance County is the last ones to get a quarantine update out. We're not. We're just not going to move forward until we have approval from the state. I do want to say, though, that we have COVID cases here. I send a report out. I try to remember to do that every week, and thanks to Mr. Altman, he's got me covered on that. But we've had very minimal cases that are actually reported. Now, I'm positive that there are other cases in our community, and they're just not reported, or they're not going and getting tested. But obviously, we can't do that. I can only report on what I have. So it looks like we don't have very many cases here in Hicksville, and I don't think we do have very many cases. But I'm sure we're dealing with it here at the school the best way we can, and you know, I pray every day that nobody becomes really, really sick. We're going to get through this. She did say this last time when we met. We actually met 3 times this week, so it was quite a week for that. But she did say that Defiance County, the cases are starting to come down, and I think you'll hear that on the national news as well. So that's a good sign that hopefully we're headed in the right direction. And that's it. That's all I have.
So I just want to take this opportunity, because it is flu season now, you know, and the fact that we aren't wearing our mask, and they are seeing flu earlier than normal. So just make sure you check your kiddos and take their temperature and keep them at home, whether it's COVID or the flu or whatever it is, just, you know.
That's exactly right, Jan. I'm glad you said that, because what they're seeing is that a lot of the COVID cases are mimicking a sinus infection. So if parents are seeing that with their kids, then yeah, please don't send them to school until you you know, give it a day or two to monitor it at home, and then that will keep us from having potential issues here at school. Masks are still optional here at our school. I have absolutely no intentions of mandating that. So it seems to be working out for us fine, and I know a lot of the athletes and stuff, for example, are choosing to wear masks on their own so that if they do get exposed, they don't have to quarantine. So it's not been an issue here. We'll keep operating the same way that we have been, with everything being optional.
And just a reminder to the public that we are still doing a lot of those safeguards by, you know,
That's right. We're doing our best to
and cleaning and
space people out and spreading the lunch area out and that kind of stuff. So we're still doing that
Yep.
part. We're just not mandating the masks. And it's working fine for us, correct, guys? Yeah,
But we all need to do our part.
that's right.
And it's so awesome that choice is respected, too.
Yeah.
That's
Either
Yeah.
way,
phenomenal.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Thank you, Galen.
Okay. Minutes and financials, I need a motion.
I'll move.
Steph, thank you.
I'll second.
Galen, thank you. Minutes from the regular board meeting on September 20th, 21. Treasurer's consent agenda items, cash reconciliation as of September 30th, 2021. Financial statements for September of 21. Approved amended official certificate of estimated resources for fiscal year 22 as presented. The total general fund resource of $15,398,020.44 and total resources for all funds of $21,037,124.36. Approved fiscal year 22 permanent appropriations as presented. Total general fund appropriations of $11,220,415.60, and total appropriations for all funds of $14,391,351.46. Approve the following then and now certificates for Jostens Inc. for $3,963.26 and WS Mechanical for $11,645. Approve the following academic athletic building construction project change order for $250 to change the speaker color. Okay. Accept the following donations: $655 for various donors for basketball and golf in memory of Jeff Peppel, $100 from Lifeline Connect Baptist Church for girls basketball, $150 from Bobby Jean Ayers for girls basketball, and $1,000 from B&K Whitman Enterprises for volleyball. Mike, do you have anything you want to add?
You kind of hesitated the way you mentioned the speaker color.
Yeah.
I don't know, it didn't come in. What happened there?
Yeah.
I was just chalking it up to an Eric thing.
It is. It is. Same way with the outlets that we did out there. So a lot of it, you know, when they designed the building, we said we wanted to mimic the inside of this building as much as possible. So the walls out there are, and the accent colors are gray, and they put in tan, and he didn't like it, so they split it 3 ways so that it matches. They also put in the wrong, or not the wrong, they put in what was spec'd out as far as for outlet, the color of the outlets, and so we took that upon ourselves to get the right color that we wanted, and Eric and John have already changed those out so that it looks appropriate. Just an appearance thing. It wasn't.
It's all about the details.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
You
I
got to get it right if you're
I
spending
trust
money.
Eric.
Exactly.
That's right.
And something that I just wanted to mention while I was here is I really like this trend of coaches, regardless of who the coach is, getting the kids out and doing service in the community, which is why there are 2 checks here. I know the girls' basketball team always every year goes and helps at their festival at Lifeline Connect.
Yeah.
But all the coaches are really good about getting their kids involved in the community and helping with the community, and I like that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Absolutely.
I also wanted to just mention that near the end of September, Rob and I in our office have a new counting software system. The state had been, most school districts in the state had operated on what was called Classic. It's been around for decades. And there's been push for years and years and years to upgrade the system. But I guess the treasurer's office sometimes they're at the bottom of the totem pole. So anyways, redesign is one of the new systems that we just switched to. So anyways, it's up and running. Rob and I are still learning the new system, but there's a lot of benefits to it, and obviously being something that's not 30 years old is kind of nice.
Anything has to be better than the states because I've seen that. That was awful.
So we're on the redesign now, and any other questions? Thank you.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Mazur?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Iden?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. We need a motion for employment of certified staff.
I'll move.
Minda, thank you.
I'll second.
Craig? Is that Craig?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Head cold, I can't quite hear. Recommend to approve Paulette Campbell as a certified substitute for the 21-22 school year. Roll call.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Iden?
Yes.
Mrs. Mazur?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Need a motion for employment of classified staff.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Steph? Galen, thank you. Recommend to approve the retirement resignation for Marilyn Guilford as cook effective March 1st of 22. And recommend to approve Dennis Siebenek, never get it right, as classified substitute for the 21-22 school year. Roll call.
Mrs. Mazur?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Iden?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
And Mrs. Carrier?
Yes, motion
Just to
passes
mention,
5-0.
Marilyn Guilford put a lot of years in here. Great lady, but she's ready to retire. So she turns the appropriate age on March 1st, I think.
So nice of you to avoid that number, Mr.
Okay, need a motion for services and agreement.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Steph and Minda, thank you. Recommend to approve the athletic training services agreement between Community Memorial Hospital and Hicksville Exempted Village Schools. The term of this agreement shall be for a period of 3 years. And this is one we talked about last month, right?
Correct.
Yep. Okay. And I would just like to give a shout out to Community Memorial Hospital. They have been wonderful to us for many, many, many years and have been so very supportive with the athletic director, sports physicals. I mean, there's just numerous things. And I know especially on,
summer lunch program.
Yeah.
They help with
Yes,
that.
they prep.
there are so many things that they help with, and we're very grateful to them. So roll call, please.
Mrs. Mazur?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Iden?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. And I need a motion for other businesses for policies.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Steph and Galen. Okay, recommend to approve the following new and revised Board of Education policies. I'm not going to read the numbers, just the title: the public participation at board meetings, evaluation of principals and other administrators, weapons, college credit plus program, career advising, weapons, eligibility of resident, non-resident students, educational opportunity for military children, attendance, student mental health and suicide prevention, early high school graduation, student hazing, positive behavior intervention and supports, limited use of restraint and seclusion, cost principles, spending federal funds, disposition of real property and personal property, property inventory, student records, school safety, student abuse and neglect, transportation, non-routine use of school buses, and bonding. I did ask Mike to talk to us briefly about the spending of federal funding changes.
Yes. You can see, can you guys see that it's green, what has been changed?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you do have the ability to see that. And so most of it is end of second page, beginning of third page, regarding with capital expenditures and to ensure that there's proper approval to do that. And really, historically, this hasn't come into play very much, but with the new grants, it has changed. So the ESSER monies, the ARP ESSER, there's a lot of money that we may be using to purchase capital equipment and so forth. So that's up through A through F, primarily dealing with that. There is some where it's talking about indirect cost and direct cost. Typically, we usually just do not do indirect cost, which is essentially a way of charging some towards administrative fees, treasurer's office, superintendent, or other things like that. However, that cost comes out of the grant itself. So typically, most grants, we don't even have enough. They're supplemented by the general fund to begin with, so it makes little sense to me to go through all that process. And then it's just a shell game changing the direction where the money's coming from. So, but this policy addresses those type of issues.
Okay. And then I had one question on the hazing. I noticed that it has specific requirements for posting. Do we have to address that differently than the normal policies?
Just what it states inside the policy, I'd have to look at it. to-
Yeah, okay.
It's like
Oh.
to the kids too. It has to
Yeah.
be posted to the
It had
kids.
very specific requirements, and I mean, I know all of our policies are, are available on the website, and they're, available to people, but I did note that that had very specific,
Was
so we'll just make sure,
like to the kids.
yeah, that we're meeting those requirements.
Okay.
And then I wondered about the positive behavior intervention and supports. Do we already have a PBIS team?
We do.
Yes.
Have
That's
we
all
had it
she's going to
several
say.
years, or is it something new?
We had it before the pandemic.
Okay.
We've attended some trainings,
Okay.
but then it was interrupted with the pandemic. And then I know some of the admin team, we attended one in the summer.
During the ESCD.
Because there's a lot to it.
Yeah,
There is a lot to it.
yeah.
A lot. Okay.
And luckily, I think we're doing a lot just with our house initiative.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All righty. Any other questions? Lovely reading, by the way. And again, shout out to Jeff Schaefer for our iPads and that they're all right there and so accessible. So nice. Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Mazur?
Yes.
Mr. Methvin?
Yes.
Mr. Iden?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mrs. Carrier?
Yes, motion passes 5-0. Do we have any old business that we need to discuss? Discussion? The road was my only thing, was, I didn't have one. Okay, if there's no other discussion, we will open the floor to any unannounced guest who would like to speak to the board.
I have a question.
Okay.
Will the board be responding to my
No, we will not.
Okay. I want to say, I think it sends a poor message to only enforce things for certain students. That's my perspective, and I know I'm not the only one that sees it
The issue
that
with
way.
responding to your information is that we cannot talk to any individual about another student unless you are the parent of that student or the guardian. So I cannot talk to you about Stephanie's son.
Right, I guess, but I'm just asking more along the enforcement for any and all students.
Again, it's really hard to respond to your request without talking about another student and how another student is being informed, disciplined, handled, whatever. I mean, your comments, we listened, we have discussed, we have spoken with our attorney, but we cannot respond in a manner that will suit you that doesn't speak about another child. And that's what it comes down to. We have to honor FERPA.
Yeah.
We have to honor that.
Okay.
So I know you want answers, but FERPA and the law states that we really can't answer your questions.
Thank you.
I'm going to go along the same lines. I had...
Wait, before you start, I
as
should
well
have
as-
asked before. Will you state your name for our record?
Angela Zedike.
Okay. I'm Jennifer Turnbull. I just, again, wanted to kind of follow up with Ange Zedike, questioning on, I hand-delivered letters to you guys, all of the school board members and the superintendent, which I did receive a letter back. The thing was, the letter that I received did not address my concern. And so I then followed up with an email to Mr. Countryman and the school board as well on September 10th, questioning, the athletic code and concerning a student athlete within the system that has 3 major violations.
Did he?
Not,
Yeah,
can't go there.
nope.
No.
Okay, well, I guess my question is then, why are we allowing some students that have to abide by it but not others?
We are not going to talk about any student, yours, mine, anybody's in this room.
I'm not talking about
No.
a particular student, I'm talking about in general.
Yeah, let me just say that a decision was made, and the decision doesn't always, it's not always what somebody else may want, but the decision was made, it's done, it's over, and we're moving forward. So there's no reason to discuss it any further.
Okay, well, we'll move forward then as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. We are going to go into executive session again. We will not take any measures afterwards, but I did want to note that the board will be attending, most of the board will be attending Capitol Conference in Columbus, November 7th through the 9th, and so our regular board meeting for next month will be November 22nd at 5:30. So just mark your calendars, Monday of Thanksgiving week, actually.
November 22nd. That's what she said.
November 22nd, Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so I need a motion to go into executive session, we'll say at 7 o'clock.
I'll move.
Second.
I heard Steph and Minda first.
Okay.
And when you're ready, roll call.
You said Minda second?
Yes, Steph and Minda.
Mrs. Mazur?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Iden? Yes. Mr.
Yes.
Methvin, and Mrs. Carrier.
Yes. Motion
Sorry,
passes
Karen.
5-0. We will go into executive session at 7 o'clock.